porta del mio cuore, tengo aperta io per te, porta del mio cuore, tengo aperta io per te, verrai tu, una volta vieni a me, verrai tu, una volta vieni a me, fuggiranno i miei dì senza vederti, Signore, fuggiranno i miei dì senza vederti, Signore. Notte e dì, io ti cerco, notte e dì, io ti cerco, notte e dì. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, I look.
Hello, everybody. I should say good morning, our fellow Americans, our brothers in America. Good afternoon to our family in Europe, and good evening or good night to our friends in Asia, India, and other countries in Asia. How wonderful it is that we can again come together and unite and offer ourselves as channels of light for the world. So welcome in the Temple of Light at Ananda Assisi. And you know, this is the land of St. Francis. Nadia and Laura last week shared some inspirations. And in fact, St. Francis is an important saint on this particular path of self-realization. Yogananda called St. Francis his patron saint. And Swami Kriyananda drew a lot of inspiration from him, both for his own devotion and spiritual life, and also for his music. So I'd like to share a story about St. Francis that we can all learn from. He was a young man and he loved beauty. He had an artistic temperament. And once he was beginning to feel the presence of God in his heart, and also his real calling, what God wanted him to do, what Jesus wanted him to do. He wanted to train himself to see beauty everywhere, not just in beautiful clothes, beautiful sunset, but also in apparently ugly things. In other words, he wanted to train himself to look not with his mortal eyes at creation, but with his spiritual eye. And that took a little courage. Now, one day, he was still a young man, maybe in his early 20s. He was not yet the saint that we know, but he was becoming that saint. He was riding his horse somewhere here around, this land. And he heard then the bell, the terrible bell of the lepers. Leprosy was a terrible disease in the Middle Ages, and those lepers were obliged to make a lot of noise wherever they went because the disease was very, very contagious. And so Francis, as a lover of beauty, thinking of the horrible appearance that lepers have and also the smell they produce, his first impulse may have been to, turn around and run away. But the call of love in his heart was stronger. And so we don't know what went on in his soul, but it was something very powerful. And a lot of courage came to him. And he turned around and he approached the leper, got off his horse, and kissed the leper. He took the leper's hands, which were probably completely disfigured, kissed the hands, embraced the leper, and acted as a channel of love. And so he could see God's beauty in the leper, but even more so, he could feel himself to act as a channel of that incredible power that he was beginning to contact inwardly more and more in his life, and that we all are trying to contact more and more inwardly in our lives as we are on our way of becoming truly warriors of light. So you may ask yourself, how is it possible that with such a contagious disease that he didn't contract it, that he didn't become a leper? And I've been meditating on that, and the only answer that came to me was that he had so much prana, he probably did contract the disease. The bacteria, the germs probably jumped from the leper's body on his skin and into his lungs and everywhere. But his body was so filled with prana that the disease had no destructive power over his body. Now, there's another side to that, because I read in one of the sources, that Francis once confided to one of his brothers that actually all through his life, his body had been ill. He'd never enjoyed good health. Probably his lungs were not functioning well. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was a constant condition of disease, of illness. So what does that mean? Does it mean that he was ill? No, it means that his body was ill, and that through his devotion to God and Guru, to God and Christ, he was able to no longer identify with that body and to live in the joy and the freedom of his spirit, at least most of the time. This is important for us to realize, because we who want to be and who will be and who already are spiritual warriors, we believe and we know that the only real immune system that we can have is God himself. The stronger that power manifests in our body, the less we will be likely to become ill. But on the other hand, if we do become ill, and we are warriors of light, we have a strong connection already with God, then God will allow our bodies to have that illness, but he will also give us the strength to endure it, and maybe even to endure it with joy. So there's two sides to this. In both cases, the Spirit manifests. It can manifest through our willpower, and especially our practice of yoga, and even more especially through our practice of Yogananda's contribution to the science of yoga, which is the energization exercises. We can regularly massage our medulla oblongata, touch our spiritual eye, and feel and visualize and will a cosmic current to enter our bodies and strengthen it. And then through our hands, share that power with others. And another way of feeling God's our immune system as God's presence in our lives is to develop devotion to the Divine Mother. I remember many, many years ago, Swami had just finished writing a chapter from a book that he was writing. It was called The Hindu Way of Awakening. And he dedicated a whole chapter to the Divine Mother. And he had just finished it, and he had printed it out, and he came here into this temple to give his Saturday satsang. In those days, he would give satsang here in Italian for all of us every Saturday afternoon. And he had a whole talk, an hour and a half, only about the Divine Mother. And when you read that chapter, you cannot but develop a deep feeling and a deep appreciation of this approach to the spiritual path. I remember Swami getting almost emotional. He said, I demand from my mother that she free me. I said, I've given you my love. I've given you my life. You must accept me. He was so strong in his devotion and in his total, unconditional faith that Divine Mother would give him exactly what he needed for his supreme joy and his supreme freedom. So these two things, our willpower and our scientific practice of yoga and yogoda, as Yogananda called the energization exercises, and accepting and approaching God with our hearts, Divine Mother. There is a very strong, powerful element in that, because Swami Kriyananda said, in this age we need Divine Mother. We need to learn to love heroically. And that word heroically, again, brings us back to the spiritual warriors that the world needs now. The world needs righteous people. The world needs people who may not be perfect, but who aspire to be connected with the divine power all the time, and who believe and have total faith in the perfection of that divine power, and to accept their own imperfections and then offer it up to that divine power. And the world needs us. The world needs people like that. So we will first, before we do our affirmation, listen to a song by Swami Kriyananda. We will listen to Swami himself singing that song. And it is based on the canticle of the creatures. He received the melody for it. And when he spoke about how Saint Francis received inspiration for that poem, which is the first poem of the Italian language, Swami was so intense and so devotional. So let us listen to him now, singing the melody that came to him when he read those words by this little and at the same time powerfully sweet Saint Francis. Canticle of the Creatures.
Altissimo, onnipotente, buon Signore, tue son le laude, la gloria et l'onore, et ogni benedizione, a te solo se confanno, et null'uomo è degno de nominarte. Laudato sia Dio mio Signore, cum tutte le tue creature, specialmente messer lo frate sole, la quale giorna et illumina noi per lui, et ello è bello et radiante, cum grande splendore de te, Signore, porta significazione. Laudato Laudato sia mio Signore per sor luna et per le stelle in cielo le hai formato chiare et belle. Laudato sia mio Signore per frate vento et per l'aere et nuvolo et sereno et ogni tempo per le quale dai alle tue creature sostenamento. Laudato sia mio Signore per sor acqua, la quale è molto utile et umile et preziosa et casta. Laudato sia mio Signore frate fuoco, per lo quale tu allumini la notte, et ello è bello, et iucundo, et robustissimo, et forte. Laudato sia mio Signore per nostra Madre Terra, la quale ne sostenta et governa et produce diversi frutti et colorati fiori et erbe. Laudato et benedicite mio Signore et regratiate et servite a Lui cum grande humilitate, cum grande humilitate.
Let us now prepare to share the light with the whole world. Swami finished by singing, "Blessed be Mother Earth within all her beauty and what she gives." And let us keep this image in our hearts and in our minds. Let's prepare by massaging our medulla with the 3 central fingers from both hands, 3 circles in one way, 3 in the other, and then you push back a little bit. You look up to the spiritual eye. You relax, and let's do it one more time. Just look up into the spiritual eye. Empower your willpower, the willpower of the warrior, and relax. Now let's tense our body gradually until it vibrates low, medium, high tension. Hold the tension, go even a little bit beyond, and then exhaling, relax gradually and completely. And let's do that one more time. And relax. Take a few seconds to feel the effect. Always be focused at the point between the eyebrows, center of your will and vision. And let's now also meditate on the light in our hearts and establish the connection between our heart's devotion and the spiritual eye. Let that light go up from the heart, through the spine, through the throat chakra, the medulla, and then focus at the point between the eyebrows. And let us focus and visualize there Mother Earth that Swami just sang about. Now let's do our affirmation 4 times, first out loud, then ever more quietly, and then only mentally. Please repeat after me. The light of God is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand, with the love of God in my heart, I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere to overcome fear with faith, hatred with love, disease with health. We are all warriors of the light. We will fill the world with God's light. The light of God is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand, the love of God in my heart, I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere to overcome fear with faith, hatred with love, and disease with health. We are all warriors of the light. We will fill the world with God's light. Now, very quietly, the light of God is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand, with the love of God in my heart, I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere to overcome fear with faith, hatred with love, and disease with health. We are all warriors of the light. We will fill the world with God's light. And now only mentally, but make sure that it's also in your heart. The light of God is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand, the love of God in my heart, I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere to overcome fear with faith, hatred with love, and disease with health. We are all warriors of light. We will fill the world with God's light. And let us now do so. Focus of the spiritual eye, visualize the whole planet in the expanding light that comes from that point of intuitive perception in our own hearts that Yogananda mentions in his poem Samadhi. And let's pray together. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls. Stay focused at the point between the eyebrows. Keep your vision strong. And let's chant Om. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Amen.